So I'm in my favorite tool store. This is Oregon Tool and Supply. It is by far the most well-stocked tool store in Southern Oregon. We're here to talk about hammers. I'm a carpenter. I've used a hammer a lot. Now I've become a blacksmith. I use a hammer even more, and there's more to hammers than you might be aware of. But today let's just talk about framing, remodeling, concrete forming. What kind of hammer should you have? So my hammer use over the years, I'm 59 now, started this when I was 19, has changed. I mean, you would expect that. The first hammer that I bought was this one, this very hammer, a Vaughan 999 is a designation. It's 20 ounce on a hickory handle. It's classic. It's hard to go wrong with a Vaughan 999. I bought it with a waffle face. The waffle face, you probably know, is on there for two reasons: to get gription on the head of a nail so you don't tend to slide off, and to tear the end of your thumb completely off when you miss. So the first thing you do when you get a waffle face hammer is take another hammer with some eye protection, or maybe on the end of a piece of rebar, blunt it just a little bit. It doesn't have to be razor sharp. And when you're beginning, you're going to hurt yourself for sure. You'll thank yourself the first time you strike your thumb if you've taken the edge off those waffles. I recommend a waffle face for framing. Here's a Vaughan 999 waffle face, exactly the same tool on a fiberglass handle. A fiberglass handle is, it's almost as easy on your arm as wood. Wood absorbs vibration. It flexes in your hand. It is forgiving on your joints, your wrist and your elbow and your shoulder. In the descending order of ergonomic responsibility, I think I just made that up, is fiberglass. My good friend Steve Hood, most effective, quickest framer I've ever worked with, he's local, has used the very same Vaughan 999 on a fiberglass handle for 40 years. With a smooth face. I don't get it, Steve. Good job. He's really good with it, but a fiberglass handle is going to last. You're never going to replace it, and it's easier on your arm. Still like wood, okay? Like wood. A few years ago, Vaughan adopted the pattern that was first initiated by California framer, made by Hart, where the face of the hammer is a little bigger, a little narrower neck, very weight forward. This was a response to how many guys were using rigging axes framing. I'm one of those guys. I love a rigging axe, or at least I did for about 15 years. So this is a 23 ounce, this is a 27 ounce, both on wood handles. A young man can use a 27 ounce. It will deliver a lot of horsepower. They become really awkward if you're working over your head. As long as most of your work is down below your waist, just banging walls together, there's nothing wrong with them. Now enter Estwing, a really well-respected American-made hammer. This is a framer, but it doesn't have the goat head, that is straight configuration claws. I don't like that. A goat head will chop. It'll grab a board and drag it to you. This pulls a nail more smoothly, but if you're pulling a whole bunch of nails when you're framing, you need to pay more attention. I have one of these for form work with the goat head claws. I like it. The steel hammer is indestructible. This blue material, I don't know what in the world it is indestructible, and over time it'll harden a little bit and it kind of takes on a green hue. Estwing, these blue handled Estwing hammers, or the leather wrapped Estwing hammers, take on a patina that is really pretty sweet. These blue handles, they look, I mean, it looks kind of space age, right? But by the time they get to be 10 or 15 or 20 years old, that handle begins to just look awesome. And then coupled with the wear and tear that's going to happen as that brushed finish goes away, this is one of the few sort of 20th century tools that can take on the patina of use that you associate more with a 19th or 18th or 17th century hand tool. I mentioned rigging axes. So people don't understand these. They think it's a carpenter's hatchet. They think it's a roofing hatchet. They think it's a Boy Scout hatchet. These things are not that. These are the nail driving machine. If all you need to do is get nails in a hurry, if you don't often put a nail in the wrong spot, you're going to be surprised. I used one of these for probably 18 years. You see how the head is set slightly above the plane of the top of the axe? You see how it's so profoundly weight forward? I don't even know how to describe why it is that this rigging axe, particularly if the handle was 2 inches longer, functions like nothing else, but it does. So if you have a rigging axe, you don't want the axe to be too sharp or you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else, but it can be a little sharp. One of the things it does is instantly open a unit of lumber, and I do mean instantly. You don't have to go to the truck for your 10 snips. You don't have to work some kind of a trick with the claws where you fatigue the high carbon banding. You land a bundle of trusses on the roof, you walk out on the bundle, pow, you're in it. The other thing is, you get a nail that's about 3/4 in or set or tacked, you can turn the axe around and chop it. The edge of the axe will catch the nail, slide up to the head, and take the nail out with a blow instead of with a pry. So just a little familiarity with a rigging axe for framing, especially stacking, really, and you're going to see that it definitely has its place in a professional toolkit. I used mine until I put enough handles in it that finally the sidewall on the eye just began to split and crack and blow up, and it became so work hardened and exhausted that I couldn't fix it anymore. But don't make the mistake of labeling a man with a rigging axe a butcher until you see what he does. So the hammers that we've been talking about, that we've pulled down as samples off this really wonderful display of hammers, range from $25 to $55. You know, just not all that much money. Nothing you want to throw away, but affordable. But the hammer that I use, you're not going to find on this wall, because it is almost without peer. They keep it behind the counter in the inner sanctum because it's expensive and it's worth every stinking penny. Check this out. Stiletto. Titanium. 14 ounce. Now mine is an earlier generation and it has a steel face in a waffle configuration like this. This one is solid titanium, weighs almost nothing, harder than a stepmother's heart, magnetic nail holder, elegant shape, fantastic. So don't snap to the rash conclusion that since it's light, it won't drive nails. A lighter hammer moves faster. A faster moving hammer delivers more energy at the point of impact. I think I'm getting a little more energy out of my 14 ounce titanium stiletto than I'm getting out of my 22 ounce steel Estwing. Now, this is apocryphal. I've not measured it, but it's my instinct that that's what's happening. When it's in your bags, it doesn't hurt you. It bangs against your leg, you don't notice it. You're working overhead, it doesn't hurt your elbow. I can feel that my elbow and my wrist is happier with the 14 ounce stiletto than it was when I was using the heavier hammers. Besides that, the nail holder, which I'll demonstrate back at the shop, these things are golden and they're priced like they're golden. This thing is $115. Okay, now that'll make anybody flinch. Pay once, cry once.
Buy once, cry once.
Sorry. Okay. Nowhere is it truer than with a stiletto hammer, buy once, cry once. And your elbow's going to thank you. Now, having said all that, stiletto doesn't pay me anything for this, but owning that hammer pays me every day. Here's the remarkable thing. It was 10 years ago that I got this hammer. I've never replaced that handle. That's a testament to two things. I'm slowing down. That's a little appalling when I realized I used to put a different handle in a rigging axe about every 4 months. But on the other hand, it also tells me that a lighter head reduces the vibration and the impact and the thrust and the racking motion on a wood handle. It's wearing away. I can't believe it's not broken. Probably also means I don't pull as many nails as I used to. But anyway, I'm here to tell you this stiletto hammer has exceeded every one of my expectations. Figure it out for yourself. If you're still young, it doesn't mean much to you, but you're going to like it.
I'm not used to doing this for a camera, boys. place bowed, which makes things